Welcome to Texas, you're entering the best state. I'll blow your chest apart and eat my dinner off your breastplate. I'm an epidemic and my case is full blown. Getting drunk and doing 120 in the school zone.
Alright, YouTube, we back with our last segment of the night. We're going to go ahead and break down the rest of the fights that happened this weekend. First one, we will start with my man, Julian J. Rock Williams, TKO in the 7th round over Marcello Matano. Now, the only thing I could think about, bro, in this fight was when Julian Williams was knocking this motherfucker all around the ring before the ref actually stopped it. When his hair was flopping and shit all over the place, he looked just like David Lemieux, B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did.
Like, you see like this fucking strip of hair just flopping all around the motherfucking ring, dog. I was like, man, he looked just like when David Lemieux was getting his ass beat by Gennady Golovkin, B. Like, straight up. Now, I already know a lot of motherfuckers gonna go in on this shit. I think J-Rock's he's a PBC fighter. J-Rock's a PBC fighter. So you already know the criticism's gonna come with this shit. Oh, you know, he fought a fucking bum. Oh, he fought, you know, Jerry Seinfeld. All right, you're right. He did fight Jerry Seinfeld. I'll give y'all niggas that shit. But, again, just like in our last segment where we talked about Luis Ortiz trying to get fights with all of these heavyweights and all these motherfuckers turning it down. The same shit happened with Julian Williams. All right, he was trying to get a fight with Austin Trout. He was trying to get a fight with Vanez Martirosyan. Austin Trout actually entertained it at first. I think Julian Williams had just beat somebody. Can't remember who, right off the top. But then it was like automatically talked about right after that win that, oh, your next opponent's gonna be Austin Trout. And Austin Trout was like, yeah, I'll fight the little nigga, you know what I'm saying? He don't want to fuck with me, though, but if he want to fuck with a nigga, I'm going to fight the motherfucker. That's basically what he said, 2K to God translated, you know what I'm saying? So J-Rock was like, yeah, shit, let's get this shit on. When it came down to sign the contracts, I like Austin Trout, but I'm going to keep this shit 100, B. Austin Trout was like, did I say I was going to fight him? I said that shit? Oh, nigga. Hey, I just playing, dog, you know what I'm saying? I just playing, my bad. You know, I'm not ready to do that right now, you know what I'm saying? That, in a nutshell, that's what the fuck happened, right? So they moved from him. They went to Vanez Martirosyan. Now, a little secret, YouTube, and actually, me and Seth plan on doing a video with a special guest where we're actually going to talk about fighters in boxing who have the skills to be one of the best fighters in the sport, but for some reason, they're just not able to get over whatever humps they're having or problems, promotional problems, managerial problems, whatever it is, and it's keeping them inactive in the sport. We're actually going to do a video on that with a special guest at a later date. But Vanez Martirosyan is one of those dudes. I think Vanez Martirosyan is one of the most talented 154-pounders there is right now. I actually think he could beat a lot of the guys at 154. He actually gave Jamel Charlo hell. He gave Erislandy Lara hell to a draw. He dropped Demetrius Andre before losing that fight. You know what I'm saying? This is a live dude right here, right? J-Rock was in negotiations with Vanez Martirosyan, and I actually had Vanez beating him if that fight was going to take place. I was going to pick Vanez. You know what I'm saying? The fight was getting ready to get signed. Vanez was like, I want more money to fight this kid. They couldn't put it up because, you know, Julian Williams, he ain't no big fucking name. You're not going to get a bunch of money to fight Julian Williams. They couldn't give him the offer he wanted. Vanez was like, fuck it, I don't want to fight. Even though he's been so inactive, he turned down the fight, keeping it 100, people. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's one of my favorite 154-pound fighters, he turned down the fight. So there was other people Julian was in negotiations with. He couldn't get anybody in the fucking ring. But hats off to Marcello Matano, just like my hat is off to Tony Thompson. He jumped in the ring. And he took the challenge. He got beat the fuck up, just like Tony Thompson did. And it was actually, he lasted only one round later than Tony Thompson did, right? You know what I'm saying? But he took the challenge. Now, before you motherfuckers, again, start criticizing PBC and Julian Williams, he had no fucking choice. All right? What did you think of this fight, man?
Man, I thought Marcello looked like, if you ever driving down the street and you see one of them, I don't know what they call them, man, but it's like that thing. It it has a lot of air blowing into it, so it's kind of flapping and going crazy and just flying all over.
You talking about the motherfucking thing that be on the top of the buildings of like car dealerships?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how he looked, man. I mean, Julian Williams was hitting him with some fire, man.
Yeah, he was.
I like the fact after the fight that I believe he called out one of the Charlo twins.
Yes. Oh, he called out Laura. He called out the Charlo twins. I didn't hear him call out Demetrius Andrade, and that's probably for his.
He don't want the problem.
His best interest. Don't fuck with that nigga.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did. You're right. Yep.
But man. So far, I really want to see him fight somebody of importance. I want to see him fight somebody that's on a particular skill level, that's on a particular level with a particular skill set.
Word.
Right now, all I'm seeing is just raw power. Good solid punches, and that's what I'm seeing right now. I want to see a bit more of him. I want to see how would he fare against some of the other guys that he's calling out. Yeah. But you can't make these guys fight you. Yeah. But I do believe if he stays on if he stays on his path and he stays doing what he's doing, there are a lot of good things in his future. Yeah. I just need to see more of him against better competition. Not knocking him at all. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Yeah, he is. And his fights are ending the way that they should end. But I just need to see a bit more of the kid to really assess him. I don't want to give my full view on him right now because I don't want to misjudge him. Right. But a lot of what I'm seeing right now is kind of expected. It's if anything, it's ordinary. Right. I'm not too high on it, but I'm not gonna down talk him, and I'm not gonna say what I don't think he can do just yet because I haven't seen him put in that situation.
Well, I've seen him enough to say what I think was wrong and what's right about him. I mean, my man's got power in either hand. He wants to be a boxer puncher, but he's a little bit too flat-footed to be doing that. Kind of like Canelo was early in his career. I got to give props to Canelo because against Miguel Cotto, he showed a lot of movement. He wasn't. We used to call my man Stone Foot. I used to say his feet are statuesque. You know what I'm saying? Like Picasso straight up chiseled that nigga's feet. You know what I'm saying? Like I was on that type of shit with Canelo. But against Cotto, he showed some movement. You know what I'm saying? But Julian Williams, his feet are statuesque in my opinion. And he throws a jab just to get in. And then once he gets in, he's planted completely. Yeah. And he's unloading hooks to the body, to the head, more so to the head. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel like he needs to provide more movement. Little note, in the amateurs, Errol Spence beat that ass. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why Errol Spence beat his ass is because he was too flat-footed against Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? I think the same thing will happen in the professionals. He actually hasn't changed his style as an amateur to the professionals. He fights exactly the same way. It's just in the professionals, you don't have all that headgear and shit. Motherfuckers can't take your power like they can in the amateurs. So I feel that he needs to do more movement. He needs to pop the jab more. He needs to work on his defense. I mean, he's still a prospect.
Absolutely.
Let's be real. He's still a fucking prospect. But there's a lot of things that he needs to work on before he starts calling out Austin Trout, Juanes Martirosyan, Jamel and Jamal Charlo. And please, I didn't hear you, but please, don't call out Demetrius Andrade, B. He'll knock you the fuck out, B. If he don't knock you out, he will embarrass you for 12 straight.
He's gonna, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on Julian. It was a good win for him, but I'm with you. I need to see him in there. Probably like Errol Spence. He's getting his step up with Chris Algieri. I need him to get his step up with somebody at 154, so we can see if he's ready for the elite in the division, right? All right, next. Antonio Margarito. Now, he looked alright, man. He looked alright, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's I'm gonna start calling my man the one-eyed bandit, B. You know what I'm saying? Like, Yo, the whole time I'm watching the fight, this nigga's eye didn't blink. It didn't blink, sis. It stayed open the whole fight, B. Now, check. I watched, watching the first round, I'm looking at Margarito, right? I noticed that he's changed the way that he's approached fights now. Obviously, he's been listening to the guys of boxing talk. I don't know if he is or not. We don't know. But maybe he is, or maybe he's listening to other people in the YTBC, or maybe he's listening to people in his camp telling him that he needs to be more cautious about that eye. Because when he came into the first couple of rounds of this fight, my man was jabbing from a distance. Now, the old Margarito, he jabbed, but he was coming forward as he jabbed, almost like he was falling into a jab just so he can get on the inside, right? That's what Margarito used to do. But in the beginning of this fight, my man was on the outside. He was like, doing a little circling. I mean, not really, you know, not Floyd Mayweather, Arislandi Lara circling, you know, a little circling, you know, moving over here, you know what I'm saying? And then he had his guard here. He would punch and then bring it back here. He didn't bring it back here like he was supposed to. So when he threw when he threw the jab, Jorge Paez was like, with the left hook, right on the eye. B, I was like, no! Hit that motherfucker right on the eye in the first round. I'm looking, I'm like, it's like everybody in the arena was like, nigga, eye okay? You know what I'm saying? But he went through, it was okay. But after the fucking third round, B, he went right back to the old Antonio Margarito, you know, jabbing, falling into the jab, getting on the inside, unloading combinations on the inside. It ended up being a dog fight, right? And then in the sixth round, he got dropped. Antonio Margarito got dropped, fighting on the inside. Now, he was giving Paez that work. You know, Paez's hands were here, so Margarito was just like, on the inside. You know, Paez had a little bit of head movement, but, I mean, it was either his head movement or the punches was moving his head. I'm not exactly sure. But it looked like my man was like this. You know what I'm saying? And after he did that, he came with a right straight on the inside, cracked Margarito dead on the chin. Margarito staggered a little bit, held like this a little bit. Paez unloaded another left hook to the eye. Hit the motherfucker again to the eye. Then he finished with another right hook. Margarito went straight to the canvas. Now, that was the only knockdown in the fight. That was a 10-8 round for Jorge Paez. This fight could have went either way. Now, my take, Margarito, if he's fighting for money, do what you do, bro. I mean, you don't give a fuck about your eye. It is what it is. If you're fighting for money, do what you do. But you need to take on lower competition. Like, you need to take on somebody who's even worse than Jorge Paez. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot fight the elite in the division. You can't even fight the B-level fighters in the division. You will get your fucking clock clean, B. Now, to be a guy who's been out of the ring, I believe, 4 or 5 years, don't quote me YouTube, and go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, can't remember. But to be out of the ring for that long, he did look okay, right? And I think he's like 37, 38 years old. He looked okay, but and give him credit, this is his first fight back in such a long time. But it was still the same Margarito, right, after the third round. He just looked older. So even if he becomes active, right, fighting, let's say he fights 4 more bums over the course of the next 2 years, he's still going to be the same Margarito, people. It only goes downhill from here. It's not going to go like this just because he came back out of retirement. No, it's basically going to start where he left off, right, after losing to Cotto, and it's going to go like this, no matter what. No matter what. He's an aging fighter. He was out for too long, and now he's automatically trying to jump back into the ring. So I really don't want to see him fight again. I give him credit for the win, even though in my opinion, this fight could have been a draw, or it could have went to Jorge Paez. One judge had it 95-94. The other judge had it 96-93, and the last one had it 97-93. I think those last 2 scores are a little bit too high. I think the fight could have been 95-94, 94-94, 95-94 the other way. Literally. And this is against a guy that 4 or 5 years ago, he probably would have knocked him the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see him fight again. Margarito, if you fight for the money, it is what it is. Take light touches, but please do not look for the elite in the division. And like he's been saying, he thinks he could beat Canelo. He said he thinks he can beat a Canelo. He thinks he can step in the ring with the elite at 154. Do not do it. Stay away from it, bro. Straight up. Next, and the last of tonight's segment, my man Tony Harrison, man. Now, I think this is a good win for him beating Fernando Guerrero, because he looked like shit against Willie Nelson. Such, you saw that fight. Yeah. He was actually beating Willie Nelson, and then it turned into a situation where he couldn't hack it. You know what I'm saying? Willie's his height, his reach, his Willie has strength. He's built like a tank. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He got a broad ass back. He's got some, he's got some broad ass shoulders. So if you don't knock him out, or if you don't beat the shit out of him like Vanez Martirosyan did to him, you know what I'm saying? He's pretty much gonna put himself onto you. And it'll be a situation where if you don't make the right decision, you could be overwhelmed. And that's exactly what happened to Tony Harrison. Now, Fernando Guerrero, he's a guy that he was a highly touted prospect at one point. He ran into Peter Quillen, history, right? Pretty much derailed the idea that he could be elite in the division. But he talks a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? He was actually making a comeback, you know what I'm saying, before this fight. And it was actually believable, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, this motherfucker might actually do something. But he's been derailed again, because Tony Harrison knocked him out in the 6th round.
Damn, man.
And this is on the undercard of the J-Rock Williams fight. So I think Tony Harrison is a live body at 154. I don't think he can beat any of the elite fighters right now. He's a good fighter. I think he's actually a good test for J-Rock Williams. Also, I think Willie Nelson is a good test for J-Rock Williams. But I really don't think this guy... I'm not sold on him yet, B. I know I got a lot of people in the boxing community who are sold on Tony Harrison. I don't think he's... I think he's a one-trick pony, B. I think he's gonna do well against the prospects, but once he gets in the ring, we already seen it against Willie Nelson. He's not even an A-level fighter. Once he gets in the ring with another contender, he'll take another L.
There it is. Exactly. And that's the thing, man. That's the thing about a lot of these prospects and a lot of these fighters that everybody's kind of high on and everybody's talking about. The minute they step in the ring with somebody that's of equal, that's on an equal playing field, equal level, they often don't do too well. They either look like shit, they barely make it out the fight, or they end up losing. So, just like you said, with Tony Harrison, man, the one thing I'm going to say is the 154-pound division is really getting crowded. It's getting real crowded, man, and I want to see these guys fight each other. The fight you mentioned earlier, I would love to see that fight. I think you said J-Rock Williams versus Willie Nelson.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
I would love to see that fight. That's what we need to see. We need to see a shaping of the division. Let's get these guys out here and let's get these guys in the ring. Like you said, Tony Harrison did his thing, knocked out Fernando Guerrero. I probably would have picked Guerrero because he has been in there with a few guys. He's been in there with Quillen. I think he's been in there with Lemieux. And those are both losses, but he's a tough motherfucker, man.
Yeah, he is.
That dude will, he'll get up until he can't get up no more. He and he'll continue to fight you. He's not a scrub. The guy has a lot of heart.
Yes, he does.
A ton of heart. But Tony Harrison, went in there and did his thing, so props to him. And I just want to see these dudes fight one another. That's what I need to see.
I agree 100%. And one thing I did notice about this fight was actually within the middleweight limit. The fight was fought at 156 pounds. 154. The limit. The limit is 154. So I don't know if Tony Harrison is campaigning at 160 or if he's gonna go back down to 154. If he campaigns at 160, he's got a better chance at being a champion in that division than he does at one. All them niggas at 154 are gonna beat this motherfucker's ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm just Keeping it 100, B.
Yeah.
But if he goes to 160, he has a legitimate shot of beating. You know, he kind of reminds me of a little bit.
What's that?
The way he fights and the way he looks to load up on his power shots a lot. He looks a little bit like Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs has faster hands.
Yeah.
But the way he loads up on power is kind of like Danny Jacobs. And that would actually, in my opinion, that would be a great fucking fight for Danny Jacobs if if Tony Harrison is campaigning at 160.
That way, yep.
Yeah, so we'll see, man. He's a young guy. He's actually rebound from the Willie Nelson knockout. We'll see what it tells for Tony Harrison. But this is a guy that I do want people to look out for, even though I'm not very high on him. But you never fucking know.
Yep.
You never fucking know. Anything you want to add, B?
Nah, man. I agree with everything you said.
All right, man. This is gonna conclude the segment. YouTube, do what you do in the comment section. We'll be real. This is real talk for real fans. 1.